What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a brand new Liverpool news video where we will talk about Pep Guardiola accusing Jurgen Klopp of making excuses for a faltering title defense for Liverpool FC. So I will tell you what exactly Guardiola said and Klopp said, and we will also preview the big Liverpool Man City game. So leave a comment, what is your prediction for this huge game? Do you think if Liverpool don't beat Manchester City then we are out of the title race? Every team is dropping points except Manchester City, who have won like 9 games in a row before this game at Anfield, and Liverpool haven't lost a Premier League game at home against Man City since 2003. But I think Man City have a better chance than in most years this season to beat Liverpool with our makeshift defense. And also the Leipzig CEO came out and said that the Leipzig-Liverpool game could be played in either the Tottenham Stadium in London, which would be pretty weird that Liverpool would play in England the away leg, or it could be played in my hometown, my home city's Budapest's beautiful Puskás Arena. These are at the moment the two most likely venues, but Leipzig have until Monday to find a venue. Unless if they don't, then Liverpool will be given a 3-0 win in the first leg, but I think that's pretty unlikely. So first I want to tell you guys the Jurgen Klopp's comments that really riled up and got Pep Guardiola pretty mad, and I haven't seen Guardiola this mad in a press conference for a long time. Jurgen Klopp said, "We didn't really have a break. I think Man City had a 2-week break for COVID reasons. It's really tough. It's a tough year, a tough season. I know for some teams it looks like lesser, but for us, obviously, for the reasons you know, it's tough." And I think Jurgen Klopp is right to point out that Liverpool had a really tough, really unlucky season in terms of injuries. But also, Man City have the luxury to call on 50 million pound players from the bench. They have 4 or 5 50 million pound players sitting on the bench almost all the time, and it makes life a lot easier. Man City could rotate their whole midfield and front line without the quality being diminished. Liverpool don't have that luxury. We don't have 5 50 million pound players sitting on the bench. Hell, we have that many sitting on the sidelines because of injuries. And Guardiola was pretty upset in his press conference. He said, "Jurgen Klopp made a mistake. It was 2 months off or 3 months off. No, 4 months off we have off. That's why we are in the top 4. Jurgen has to see the calendar again. We had COVID, we had 1 week, and we played with 14 players at Stamford Bridge." I'm surprised about this. I thought Jurgen was not that type of manager like other ones who usually do it, so I didn't expect that comment. Maybe it was a misunderstanding. If he sees the calendar again, he will realize it was not 2 weeks. And yes, Jurgen Klopp was wrong. It was not 2 weeks. It was more like 1 week and a little bit more. But I think Jurgen Klopp was just referring to the really hectic schedule combined with Liverpool suffering like freak injuries. Joe Gomez suffered a season-ending injury in England's training. For example, Van Dijk got his season ended by Jordan Pickford. I'm still upset about that. And many others. Diogo Jota also got injured with a innocuous knock in a meaningless Champions League game. So Liverpool were absolutely desperately unlucky. And that's not an excuse, that's an explanation of why Liverpool are so far behind Man City. But also, it's true that Liverpool still, with the players available, should have got more points against the bottom 6 sides. We have 1 win in 7 games against bottom 6 teams, collecting 7 points from an away ball, 10-21, and that's just good enough. And that's the difference right now between Liverpool and Man City. Man City are beating the teams that they are supposed to beat. They are beating the sides in the bottom half of the table consistently. That's how they racked up 9 wins in a row. Most of those wins came against the bottom half of the table, and Liverpool dropping so many points. But still, if somehow Liverpool could pull off a victory against Manchester City, then we might not just be in with a shout. Not because the gap will be only 7 points, but because Man City have some really tough games coming up. They play a lot of really big teams, and Liverpool have also some tough games coming up, but maybe not against the top 6. We play Everton, Leicester, and Sheffield United and other fixtures. Man City play like Tottenham and Arsenal and Chelsea or Man United, so they play a lot of like top teams in the next few, like 4 or 5 Premier League games. And I think Guardiola's interview really points out that he still absolutely sees Liverpool as a title rival, and he still fears Liverpool. And Jurgen Klopp, Guardiola said before that Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool is the toughest opponent that he has ever faced in his managerial career. And no wonder he's saying that, because we knocked Man City out of the Champions League and we consistently beat them in the Premier League at home, or at least got a draw. Guardiola has never won at Anfield. Hell, Man City, even like before, with rich managers, rich squads, they never got a win at Anfield under Sheikh Mansour's ownership, and it dates back to 2003 when Nicola Anelka scored a 90th minute winner at Anfield. Maybe today is the day where Man City will beat Liverpool, but it will be a really tightly fought contest. And Jurgen Klopp also was very bullish in his pre-match interview. He said, "I know it's often portrayed that Man City and ourselves have driven each other's improvements over the past few seasons. I get that, I understand the sentiment behind it. The idea that having a direct opponent who is so intense means the other cannot afford to relax for the most fleeting moments. There have been moments where it felt like a scene from a Rocky film where Balboa and Apollo Creed are just training punches, but neither will go down. My only issue with this notion is that for us, with our situation, to stand any chance at all of achieving the things we dream of, we have to be entirely focused on ourselves. This is more important than ever right now. Respect rivals, of course, enjoy the drama, focus of a head-to-head battle when it comes, but we must not lose sight of the fact that our progress comes from making sure we squeeze the maximum out of ourselves each and every day, and then being at peace with what that brings us." And I think Liverpool have a great chance of beating Man City today, because Alisson will be back, Fabinho could be back, Sadio Mane could be back, Jordan Henderson could be back in midfield, because Ozan Kabak could be starting. There are small hints that he could be starting today alongside Fabinho or maybe even Ben Davies. But I don't think Liverpool will start both Kabak and Ben Davies in this really huge game. But Kabak could start alongside Fabinho, and then Henderson could move into midfield. And that would be huge for Liverpool, because I think Liverpool missed Henderson from the midfield. Jurgen Klopp also said, "Man City are flying. We have had mixed fortunes. It is what it is, and it won't matter when the whistle goes and the ball starts to roll. The key message for us today is to simply attack the contest with all we have. The only team to worry about and concentrate upon is ourselves. Focus on being us. That's always been enough for me, and always will be, with these incredible players that we have. And in the end, we have to play football. In the end, we have to defend Man City with really everything we have, and we have to play football on a really high level, because you don't get easy chances against Man City. So you have to make a few special things, and that's what we try. Obviously, it's possible. That's the good thing about football. Even when you lost the last game, everything is possible for the next one, and that's what we will try to use and show. We can go back in the very beginning of the season when we had a few games we should have won. The situation was similar. Not a lot less injuries, but a bit less. We should have won the games, so we would have had already more points. So it's not about that. We lost the last game and we deserve to lose. We cannot ignore that. But you are right, we can't ignore the other things. This is a tricky season for us. All of them, the injured players, are really good players. We have to get through this, and we have to play better football anyway. Whatever happens to whoever, and whoever is out, we have to play the football we are able to play, and I expect that always. But on Wednesday, I saw the boys wanted to, but they couldn't. They were mentally fatigued. The reason was, in my understanding this time, because I was part of the 2 trips to London and I saw the 2 games live on the touchline. It looked like we paid a little bit the bill for those 2 games. It took the toll on Liverpool players. That's not cool, but that happens, and now let's go for the next one. Let's go for the win against Manchester City, and I'm really excited. I'm a lot more optimistic after reading Jurgen Klopp's comments. And feel Foden, the Man City star, said that Liverpool are still in the title race. They are a real danger. He said, at the start, we, Man City, we weren't on top and everyone wrote us off saying we had dropped too many points, but we stuck together and now we are on top. And so it shows how it can change. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We have to just think about the next game. It's so easy to drop points. There isn't really a home advantage this season and it has been a strange year. Liverpool are such a great team and they have great players. We know they can go on a run themselves. It's going to be a great game. You see how strong Liverpool have been in recent years and I still see them as a danger, and also Manchester United are playing well, but we just have to focus on ourselves. And I think this is true that Liverpool can go on a run, but I think that in order for that to happen, Liverpool need to get back their stars. We need to get Diogo Jota back, Alisson, Fabinho, Henderson needs to play in midfield. Hopefully Ozan Kabak can come in and help Liverpool in defense, and also Mane needs to come back. And then with Liverpool having a little bit of a more settled side, hopefully we can go on a run of wins. And Naby Keita is also crucial. And Jurgen Klopp also spoke about how Thiago could be the key to turning Liverpool's season around and really mounting a title challenge. Thiago's form is good, it's really good. The situation was, of course, far from perfect when he came back from injury, and he came in the summer and he got injured pretty early, and then we had to learn how he plays, he had to learn how we play without changing everything. You don't buy Thiago Alcantara from Bayern Munich and tell him, nice, but from now on you do this different and that different. Jurgen Klopp continued, it's a job and you need time for that. These kind of things kind of settle naturally without changing too much, just by using the different skill sets. And the numbers suggest that Thiago is swiftly getting up to speed. Only Jordan Henderson of Liverpool's other midfield options averages more passes per 90 minutes, and only Henderson wins back more possession more often. Only James Milner creates more chances or contests more aerial duels per 90 minutes, while only Curtis Jones wins possession in the final third more regularly. In every other metric, Thiago is in first place, apart from, of course, goals and assists, but that's not his job. And former Aston Villa player Lee Hendry has warned Liverpool that they are wasting Jordan Henderson by sticking him in at centre back. And does he really think that Jurgen Klopp doesn't know that? We stuck Henderson in centre back because we had nobody. Literally, we had nobody else to play centre back. And I think now that we signed Kabak and Davies, hopefully they can come in and put Henderson back in midfield. Hendry said this, I'm looking at Henderson and I think he has been fantastic for Liverpool, but when you put him back at centre half, you are losing what you have got. I know they had no choice, but they have got two new defenders. I thought that was the time against Brighton for Davies to come in. I just think having Henderson as central midfield, he dictates a lot of the play. He's a big voice in the changing room and he's a big leader. The reason why we couldn't put in Henderson is that Davies and Kabak didn't have enough time to get up to speed with how Liverpool wants to play, and Jurgen Klopp just couldn't risk it. And there is an argument to be made that Liverpool probably should have signed Ben Davies a lot earlier. We should have brought him in earlier in the window, but the fact is Liverpool weren't planning to sign Ben Davies until Joel Matip got a season-ending injury. So when Liverpool got the news, then we started working on a centre-back. And it's actually like a blessing in disguise that Matip got injured, because if Matip doesn't get injured, we probably don't sign Ben Davies, and maybe we probably don't sign Ozan Kabak on loan until the end of the season with an option to buy. So Liverpool got two centre-backs with one getting injured. Maybe in the long term it's better for Liverpool, at least until the season is over. Hopefully by then Matip, Van Dijk and Gomez will be back. And I really hope that we buy Ozan Kabak, because he looks like a player. Already I watched him in training with some training videos and he looks like a proper player. I don't think Liverpool will put in Ben Davies against Man City. Ozan Kabak, I see more of a chance of him playing but we shall wait and see. And also, congratulations to Takumi Minamino, who also scored on his debut for Southampton against Newcastle. It's a shame that Southampton lost. Takumi Minamino scored a brilliant goal on his debut, and it was an interesting week because Jesse Lingard scored on his debut, Joe Willock scored on his debut for Newcastle, and Taki scored as well, and I think he's a better player than Divock Origi. I would have loaned out Origi probably and kept Minamino, but the thing is, Jurgen Klopp wanted Minamino to play regularly, and he can play almost every game at Southampton, especially with the injuries that they have, and then hopefully he will improve, he will get his confidence up, and when he comes back to Liverpool in the summer, he will be a totally different player because he will have played regular Premier League minutes by then at Southampton. So good luck to Takumi Minamino. He's off to a great start in his loan spell for Southampton. And that's it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. The Liverpool Career Mode show is also dropping later today, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. See you later, guys. Goodbye.